Wait,
How are
Elizabeth,
you, Eric?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
This is so cool. I'm so glad to finally be able to chat with you in semi-person.
Same. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing this on a Sunday.
Oh my God. I was just gonna say thank you for doing this on a Sunday, and then I realized, wait a minute, we're both in industries where there's no such thing as weekends or 9 to 5.
I know it's true.
It's
It's true. I know. We like to believe that someone has some semblance of a weekend, but it's not really the case.
it's
Have you
not.
ever seen that scene with Maggie Smith in Downton Abbey where she says, "What is
Yes.
a weekend?"
I was like, thank you, Maggie. That is my life.
Exactly. I literally thought of it yesterday as I was driving home from work. I was like, what is a weekend?
Exactly. I'm constantly trying and having to ask my family, so the Tony Awards are tonight, so I kind of have to you know
Right.
work on that, and sorry about
Right. Of
dinner.
course. Of course.
I think
Yeah,
we
we do
all
not live, we do not do business hours around
I'm
here.
telling you. All right, let's have some fun. um how did you first come to Shining Girls? Was it as an actor, producer, director, or did it come to you?
It came to me as a offer to act and produce. And it came to me like 3 years ago, I think, while I was shooting season 3 of Handmaid's Tale. Must have been 2018. And the first script came to me, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. I just was like, this is such an interesting story. And I've never read anything like this before. And I hadn't read the book, which I actually think was good because I was really coming in it as an audience member.
Mhm.
And I with no attachment sort of to the book yet. And it just was this sort of, I was like, I got to the end of the script and was like, what? What's going on? And then like had to, I was like, can I read the second script? And they sent me the second one. I was like, oh my God, now what? And I just kind of fell in love as a storyteller. Honestly, sometimes you attach to a project because you're like, oh my God, this is purely just character based, like I just want to play this type of person,
Yeah.
or I want to work with this director or whatever it is. But this one was like, oh, I love this story, this is cool, I haven't seen this.
It's something I really loved is how the show just thrusts you right into the story and doesn't
Mm,
explain the time shifting element. It just happens, and
mhm,
you're watching it and you're on the same ride as Kirby or Sharon,
mhm.
depending, and it puts so much faith in the audience, and I really love that.
Oh, thank you. I'm really happy to hear you say that because I follow your work and respect your opinion. And one of the things that was really important to us was having faith in our audience and believing that they would get on board and come along for the ride. And we had a lot of conversations on a micro and macro level about that, whether it was about a scene or a moment or an episode or the entire season. It was really, really important to us, and especially important to me because I kind of know what my audience is, having been doing a few shows for a while, right? So I kind of know who my guys are here, and I know what they like, and I know who this audience is, and I know that they're really smart, and they want to be treated that way. And so it was really important to me to just go, look, we have to kind of, but we have to, there are times when we might need to try to explain this because it might just be too confusing, and we would try to work on that. But there were times we didn't want to lose the audience in the confusion, but there were times we were like, and I was like, they'll, if they're with the characters, if they're with Kirby, they will come along for the ride. And the version of the show where the audience understands why everything is happening and every little detail, I'm telling you, is a terrible show. And that isn't what we wanted to make. you know?
Yes, it's one of the best elements of that kind of weaves the storyline in through the metaphor is Philippa Sue's Jin Suk, who's constantly,
Mm,
just by virtue of her one of her jobs, is talking about particles, and one impacts the other, even across space and time, and she's constantly dropping these little bits and pieces that are the theme of everything that we're watching. And it's, I don't know, I just loved it. It just threaded so well.
Thank you so much. And I love that you remember the line, because that was one of those moments where we were like, is this too much? Does it feel like cheesy, like we're trying to explain this to the audience? And that was one of the moments, those kinds of moments, and they happened a lot with Jin Suk, where we were like, no, this is her job, this is who her character is, and what is important to her character. And it's a way for us to kind of throw a bone to the audience and be like, this is what we're talking about, this is the theme, this is what's actually going on. So I'm very glad you picked up on that.
Yeah. As the story goes and the time shifts and the time travel starts to happen more frequently, how did you keep track of who and where you were at any given scene, just to keep your performance grounded?
Yeah, no, well, normally I'll just kind of carry around the script that we're currently shooting, right?
Yeah.
And then this one, it was just like I had to have all 8 scripts somewhere nearby most of the time because it was a real challenge. There was always a normal challenge with keeping track of where you are, but you're like, well, this is the most basic part of my job, is to understand what scene I'm in, so that's fine. But this was like 100 times that, because we shot everything obviously out of order.
Yeah.
We shot all 8 episodes out of order. Like, we weren't shooting episode 7 and 8 necessarily at the beginning, but by the end we were sort of shooting all the episodes. And so you really had to be careful. You had to be really careful that you knew what had happened and what had not happened, what your character knew and what your character didn't know. And then also, of course, as a director, you're also then having to remember what everybody else knows too.
Yes.
Because an actor comes to you, oh my God, it's so terrifying when they come to you and they're like, so what has this happened, and what do I and by God, you better know the answer. You can't look at them blankly and say, I don't know.
I think we have to give us a special shout out to your script supervisor, Mariana Harrison, for keeping all of it together. I think they need to make a special Emmy for her for this season or something, because she's like one of those unsung heroes in a story like this.
I know. And then we actually had 2 script supervisors because one of them left, and so then we had somebody else come in. And can you imagine what that job was like?
Yeah.
Trying to catch up on the show.
My gosh.
And she did a brilliant job too. So yes, I agree. I mean, it's
Wonderful.
kind of great. I don't know how you would quantify it, but there really should be an Emmy for script supervisor.
I think so. There's something there, I think.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking of directing, all the episodes of this first season are directed by women, including yourself, obviously. The source material, showrunner, and the lion's share of the crew are led by women. How was that experience different from other projects that you've worked on?
It was awesome. I mean, it was very, I was involved in this as a producer from before Apple came on. And so I was involved with Appian and MRC. They were there, and then I came on, and then we found our home in Apple. And so I got to be a part of the hiring process and the crewing up process from the very beginning. Now, I did that on Handmaids too, and we did obviously have a female director, the first 3 episodes, blah, blah, blah. It was always very important to us in this, but that was a few years ago. Times have, thank God, changed even a little bit since then.
Yeah.
And the recognition of how important that has improved a little bit more, right? And
Yes.
so, and inclusivity and all of these things have become even more important in the past 5 years. And so I got to be a part of that that hiring process. And it was just very, it wasn't, it wasn't something like, it wasn't like we all sat down in a room or a Zoom room and we're like, we're hiring all women. It just was like, it was just the natural thing to do. It just felt like every step of the way, we were like looking at women. We were just, and sometimes we would just be like only looking at women. It just felt very natural, and all the best people for the job were women. And like, it was actually so easy. The only thing that was hard were how many great women were working and unavailable.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a very, very good problem to have. It's very different. It's very different from, 10, 15 years ago. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I have to say, one of my favorite moments of all of it, of the season, was early in the season when you jump on stage with Amy Brenneman, who plays your mom. It was such a very her smell moment, which is one of my favorite things that you have ever done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I couldn't help but see the parallel there.
It made me so happy.
I know. I really did have kind of a fun Becky something flashback when I was in that costume and the wig, and then the singing, and we were dancing when me and Maddie were dancing on the dance floor.
Yes.
I actually put in that dressing room, in the punk version of that dressing room, of Sid's, there's a Becky something poster.
Oh my God, I must have missed it. I will have to rewatch.
I don't know if it ever got the limelight in the way that I wanted it to. I think it was, I think it was in maybe one of my original cuts, but it might have gone by the wayside at some point, but it's there.
And speaking to that, you have two episodes 5 and 7. Why did you choose those episodes to direct?
I kind of didn't choose them. So so what happened was, I am the baby director here amongst these three women. I'm the least experienced, and so rightly so, they had first pick, So of course Michelle was hired to do the first two, and because that's who Michelle McLaren is, and rightly so. And then Dana came on as our producing director, and of course she's Dana Reed, so she has the choice of which episode she wants to do, and so she was going to do 3 and 4. We knew that. And then between 5, 6, 7, and 8, she wanted to do 6, which was the Harper War flashback one, which was going to be really fun. And of course, she's going to do the finale because she's Dana Reed. So so that left 5 and 7. I was like the cleanup crew. I was like, you got it. I'm here. Just tell me which episode you want me to do.
I had just talked to Isabel Sandoval last week for Under Door of Heaven, and she also did the penultimate episode of that show, which you did. And for me, that is often the best episode of a series, because you get right next to the last step, so you get so much information. You have to consume so much. There's so much going on, and so secretly, it's almost always the best episode.
Yeah, I kind of did know that. I kind of knew that. It wasn't my choice, but I was very happy to get 7. I did 9. I did the penultimate episode of Handmaid's Tale in season 4. And so I was like familiar with the concept of the penultimate episode. And you're absolutely right. I think because everything that you've been setting up throughout the season tends to come to a head in 9, or the penultimate episode, I should say, right? And then the finale is the finale. The finale is just wham bam. It is, it's ending with a bang. But you do in the penultimate get this fantastic thing where you get all the stories that have been building, and you get to kind of bring them all to this head, which is really fun.
Yes. I have to ask you about your co-stars. We just did an
Yeah.
interview with Wagner Moura, and
Aw.
I have to. He said, "quote that you are truly one of the greatest American actors working." So
Oh,
his affection for you was tremendous. And
that's so
then
kind.
Jamie Bell, who is certainly one of my favorites. We don't see him in a role like this very often.
Mhm.
So what was it like with each of them?
Ugh, I got so lucky on this one. My God. Let's start with Vogue. I mean, he is, and he's, where do I even begin with him? He's like no other actor I've ever worked with. He is so unbelievably alive. He is so facile. He's so present. He has an energy to him that is absolutely electric. And it electrifies you as an actor. It electrifies you as a director. It is contagious and infectious, and it's inspiring. And him and I really just fell into this work love relationship where we just became really good friends. And it's sort of a surprise to the both of us. I think, we have very different backgrounds, and we never met before, and we're both of an age where we're not necessarily making new friends. And so but we just kind of clicked, and have this chemistry that is just so exciting to me. So, and he's just absolutely so phenomenal in this show.
Yes.
When we heard that he wanted to do it, we were like, I mean, you should have heard some of the calls and the texts and the things that were like very, very violently and very aggressively saying, do not lose him. Do not lose him. We have to have him. Do not fucking lose him. So
Yes.
anyway, I echo the sentiments. And then Jamie, this is the best performance I think he's ever given. I think he has a well of talent that is he's just tapping the surface. I think that man is going to be somebody who is going to win an Oscar. He's going to find that role. He is so, so talented. And I'm so excited to be at any part of this part of his career. And he's also just really lovely and fun and kind of same thing, very facile, very creative, very instinctive, and gives you everything he's got, man. He does not hold back. In episode 7, when Harper kills Dan, oh my God, I had to check on these men after every take, because the scene that we shot is much longer than what's in the show.
Sure.
And my director's cut has a much longer version of this scene. And they were just going at it and giving everything they had to every take. And I just kind of had to check on them and be like, you guys okay? Like, it was incredible. It was incredible.
And we'll close with what is the next season of Shining Girls look like to you? Where do we go?
That's a very, very I applaud the way that you asked that question. I very much admire the way you asked that question. Very good job. Look, I really actually just don't know at this point what our plans are. And that's an honest, genuine answer. I really actually just don't know. I'm not gonna lie, of course, it's not like we haven't talked about it. Sure. Anytime you do anything, everyone's like, well, is there gonna be another one? I don't think we were even necessarily sure at the beginning whether or not, this was going to be a one-off or have more. But I do think that, for me, personally, I feel like there's more story to tell. I think that where Kirby's gotten to, I almost feel like we kind of just got started near the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I want to know more about the house. Like, I want to know more about what's going on. I want to know more about how the house works and stuff. And then we couldn't get too bogged down in that in the first season. That would have been, like I said, the bad version of the show.
Yeah.
But so I do feel, if I'm being honest, I do feel like there's more story there. Whether or not we all want to sort of hold hands and go on that journey, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
Elisabeth, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Eric. It's nice to speak with you.
You too. I wish you the best always, and definitely with the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Keep doing your work. I'm watching and reading.
Thanks. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.